getting into it. Let's get it. Round, what is this? Round 10. They do every round here, over there in Europe. So round 10. We got Mew, and it is Fusion Mew, I believe. I see the V-Guard energy and the Pokemon Catcher and the prize cards there from Ryan. So I believe it is Fusion Mew. Up against Lugia. I think this matchup is pretty close to 50-50. I think Mew's struggles come in other matchups, and that's why it kind of struggles in the format. I think whether you play Fusion Mew or Double Turbo Mew, I still think it is pretty close to 50-50. I don't actually know what build Leon was playing. I didn't watch any of the stream. So I'm not actually quite sure which build of Mew ends up winning the tournament. But yeah, I think this matchup is pretty close to 50-50. If Raz plays something like a Drapion, it gets a little bit more favored for Raz. I doubt Raz has a Drapion, but we'll see. Maybe. You never know. Raz is going first. Going first is a big deal. Generally a bigger deal in the Double Turbo build matchup. In the Fusion build matchup, it's definitely less relevant of who goes first. Going first isn't as big of a deal because the Fusion player can still get off that turn 1 attack and get the turn 1 knockout. So, yeah, it's not as big of a deal for sure. But can still be going first. Like the Lugia player still wants to go first overall, but less of a big deal for the Mew player. And as far as prize cards go, a Rangaroo being prized is never great. Actually, on Ryan's side, the V-Guard energy being prized is going to be a little bit annoying. But if Ryan gets a knockout with a Meloetta off the rip here, the V-Guard energy being prized will be in the first 2 prize cards that they get, so it won't actually be that big of a factor. So it has the Quick Ball as well on Raz's side for the Lugia. So Stoutland in the active is actually really bad for Raz. You want to open a 1 prize Pokemon, and then sometimes you can play it out where you don't have 3 2 prize Pokemon in play, and that can kind of be how you get the advantage in this matchup. And fully make Ryan take 4 KOs. And if you can force Ryan to take 4 KOs, you usually win the game, while you're taking a knockout every turn yourself. So that's kind of the game plan. Aurora to the Stoutland, actually. Interesting from Raz there to put the Aurora on the Stoutland. I mean, it makes more sense to me to put it on the Lugia on the bench. Putting it on the active doesn't really make a whole ton of sense to me, to be honest. Unless Raz doesn't know what build Ryan is playing. It's possible Raz doesn't know that Ryan's playing the Fusion Mew and thinks it's probably Double Turbo Mew, which is the more popular of the 2 Mew builds, I believe. Here we go. Cram off the rip from Ryan. Does have a Fusion Energy and the Battle VIP Pass in hand, so could already set up the Meloetta right now. That would cut quite a bit into Ryan's potential draw power, though, to not grab like a Battle VIP Pass here, though. So I'm curious to see what Ryan chooses to go with. It's counting the Fusion Energy, it looks like here, checking some prize cards. And yeah, nothing, like I said, nothing too important prized. I mean, the Switch card not being prized would probably be ideal for Ryan here. Because, I mean, you need to move this Genesect into the Meloetta, but it won't be a huge hindrance to Ryan in this one, I don't think. And lines up the Escape Rope actually as the take. Interesting choice on the Escape Rope. I would have thought the Elsa Sparkle or another Battle VIP Pass would have been the take here from Ryan. But I think Ryan is going all in on this 1 Genesect draw. Unless there's another card in hand I haven't seen here from Ryan that makes this a little bit... And Ryan might just have the Sparkle in hand and I didn't see it quite right. But we'll see. There's the Meloetta. There's the Mew. I think Ryan might just have the Sparkle. Oh no, that might be a Forest Sealstone actually. I think Ryan might have the Forest Sealstone in hand. Oh, and they do have the Forest Sealstone in hand. All right. Goodbye, Lugia. I think you probably concede here as Raz after this happens. You could stick it out for 1 more turn, but I just don't see how you ever win this, to be honest. I think if I'm Raz here, I'm scooping because you have to push up Stoutland, and then Meloetta puts Ryan down to 2 prize cards. The games don't take too long in this matchup, but you never know how... Sometimes the Mew turns just this just takes a long time, to be honest. Sometimes Mew just takes a long time to play through their turns. So if I was Raz here, I'd probably concede after my lone Lugia gets KO'd and I'm pushing up a Stoutland. If I was pushing up a 1-prizer, I would consider sticking it out, to be honest, but... Oof, and another Genesect is coming in hot here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Once Raz sees another Genesect coming down, we're like, all right, let's go to game 2. This gives Raz a little bit more info to work with, though. Going into game 2, knows it's the Fusion Mew now for sure, if they didn't know before. So that's good information to have on these turn 1 scenarios. Once again, open to 2 prize Pokemon. Not what you want to see here from Raz. You want to be opening like a Manaphy or a Dunsparce, the Oranguru. There's like so many good things to open in this matchup for Raz. There's like any one prize Pokemon, basically. The Charizard's a little bit awkward because then if they don't get the turn 1 KO, then it's hard to move the Charizard, but that's the only thing that can be kind of awkward is opening the Charizard, to be honest. You appreciate the 10 months or the 16 months there, Zub. Going to Orlando, haven't played since 2020. What's the most linear turn 1 deck? I would say go with Fusion Mew. I would not play Lugia. You're not going to have fun playing Lugia. You're going to have fun playing Fusion Mew, though. Won't hit many mirror matches. All right. Evolution Incense for the Archeops, and I think we do have an Ultra Ball in the hand from Raz, so we will see 2 Lugia coming down turn 1 here. And giving Raz a fighting chance in this one, and not the donk. Even if the donk happens, it won't be the end of the world. There we go. Ultra Ball's away a VSTAR, and an Archeops grabs a Lugia V. Arcdura or Arcgoo. I wouldn't play Arcgoo. Lost Zone Goo is okay. Actually, Arcdura is another good shout, though, for sure. That and Reggie's, I would say. If you're picking between decks, I would say Fusion Mew, Reggie, Arcdura. Is Raz going to go back in? Is thinking about playing the Luminion right now. I don't like this, though. I think Raz is potentially thinking, okay, I mean, it is possible that Ryan plays Path to the Peak, but that's just so much for Ryan to get on the first turn. I think not putting this extra 2 prize Pokemon in play is worth the trade-off of potentially getting Path for the potential to top deck a draw supporter. Like if you top deck Research, then you just don't have to put the Luminion in play, and that's great. So I'm not sure I like this from Raz, because now you just have 3 2 prize Pokemon in play. You can, I guess you can attack with Luminion though, right? Like if Raz goes attack with Meloetta, you go attack with Luminion. So actually maybe it's not as bad as I'm like making it out to be in my head. Luminion is a little bit easier of a knockout, so that could lead to Ryan getting a 2 prize knockout on the first turn. But yeah, you can actually just attack with Luminion as a follow-up. So yeah, in my I'm making it out to be a little bit worse than actually is. It's probably just fine to have Luminion play, to be honest, overall. Let's go with the attachment active from Raz. I don't hate it. It's hard to pick where you want to attach. You definitely want to attach to one of the Lugias, but if Ryan plays Escape Rope, then you send up the bench Lugia that has energy. And if Ryan doesn't play the Escape Rope, then the active Lugia with the energy gets KO'd. You could have attached to the Luminion, but then if Ryan does play Oricorio, Ryan could turn 1 attack with Meloetta with Oricorio in play, which wouldn't allow the Meloetta to get the KO, or wouldn't allow the Luminion to get the KO on the Meloetta. So probably don't want to put the double turbo on the Luminion. So on the active Lugia, I guess is fine. I mean, it's like how many Escape Rope does Ryan play? How many Switch Card or Switch does Ryan play? You don't really know. So it's hard to tell where the energy should go. If you know they play more Switch than Escape Rope, it should go on the bench Lugia. If you know they play more Escape Rope than Switch, it should go on the active. But you can't really make that call here as Raz. So I don't hate the attachment active. I think it's fine. That'll VIP pass off the rip once again from Ryan. I believe has 2 Genesects in hand. And I think has the 4 Seal Stone. So already a ridiculously good start once again from Ryan. I'm expecting a 2 prize knockout. Gets the Oricorio. That's interesting. That's an interesting grab there from Ryan. I would think that you'd maybe want to prioritize that after your Meloetta has gone down. We could see Ryan do a play where you like, I mean, I guess the chance of Raz going like boss KO your lone Mew off the bench next turn is probably not happening. So maybe Ryan's fully playing into that, not being a factor. But Oricorio doesn't become a factor until, Oricorio is not really a factor until the Meloetta has gone down. So it's an interesting choice from Ryan, because you definitely are leaving up the possibility of Raz now going Gust KO your lone Mew V, which I think would be pretty bad. The one thing that could happen here is Ryan could put the Fusion Strike energy on the Meloetta and the Oricorio and not on the Mew. So then that way, even if you chase the Mew, it doesn't matter. And I believe Ryan's close here. Ryan has the Sparkle in hand, can go grab a Fusion energy off of this Cram. Oh no, and that actually even has the 4 Seal Stone. So yeah, Ryan has it all mapped out here right now. Can get the knockout easily on the Lugia, I think. I think it's just like almost KO'd. You maybe need 1 modifier. Yeah, you only need 1. You do need a modifier, I think, here as Ryan. Or a switch card. So like, you just draw with the other Genesects before you use the 4 Seal Stone, and you should draw into it, no problem. I'm curious as to what Ryan took off of that Cram. I'm actually not sure. Yeah, I'm actually not sure. It was the escape rope. So once again, going in with the escape rope. Interesting choice there from Ryan. Did have the switch card in the deck. I think Ryan wants the Luminion pushed here. But yeah, it's correct for Raz to definitely push up the Lugia. And now we see the catcher happening. And I think Ryan will go after. Yep, goes after the Luminion so that way it can't be shuffled back into the deck after the Meloetta takes the knockout. Especially because Raz discarded a Lugia VSTAR. Ooh, double Fusion Strike energy drawn, but that should be fine. That should be fine. So there's still 2 in the deck, and the Sparkle's in the hand here for Ryan, and still has the Force Seal Stone. So still fine here for Ryan. Yeah, so going to take out this Luminion. Yeah, ends up targeting the Meloetta and the Oricorio. If you do target your Mew here, it's your only Mew. And that's why I'm just like, that's why I don't understand why Ryan prioritized the Oricorio here. Yeah, I don't know why Ryan prioritized getting the Oricorio here. Maybe you just want to force the Fusion Energy on one prize Pokemon. So even if you had gotten double Mew and put a Fusion Energy on one of the Mews, you don't want Raz to be able to go like 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize. But I don't even know if that's possible in the situation that Raz is currently in with how many cards they have. I don't even know if that would like be a thing. Especially after you saw Raz go Luminion for research. The chance that Raz has a Gust, has like Lugia V-Star, Archeops, Gust KO is just like so low. I feel like you could have just gone double Mew here. I don't know. This still seems fine overall. I believe still has 1 use of Genesect left. Probably should just throw the Choice Belt down on the Meloetta. I don't know why you would hold that over trying to... That's interesting. So would rather play a tablet than the Choice Belt, I guess. I guess that does make sense to some extent because you want to... Oh, no, it's a Luminion. You don't need the Choice Belt. Never mind. I thought we were knocking out a Lugia here. I was trying to like, all right, we're trying to do 220. We're only trying to do 170. So you get to save the Choice Belt. You get to save the modifier here, which is that much better for Ryan to then get through these Lugias. All right, so the first 2 prize cards have been drawn from Ryan. I assume Ryan also plays Echoing Horn. They might not. It would be my guess, though. I would have hated to see the Fusion Energy go to the Mew, but I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it. I think Raz maybe has a Gust effect and is debating KOing the lone Mew. Maybe not, though. We know they have the research in the hand. I can't tell what that is, to be honest. Is that second Luminion? It is second Luminion. If you're going with the Luminion here, I feel like the Gust is happening. But I think there's only 1 Archeops in the discard pile here as well. And then this Meloetta is swinging if you Gust KO the Mew here. If you get 2 Lugia V-Stars online, if Raz does play... If Raz plays the second Lugia V-Star and can get that into play, I think you're in like a fine spot here as Raz. But it looks like that is not the case. Has an Ultra Ball, a lot of energy, can get the second Archeops in the discard pile, but is not going to be able to find... Can get second Archeops, but actually can't find a second V-Star. So that Lugia V on the bench is going to be going down next turn. So we're probably going to see Raz go for Lugia, quick ball it away, grab a target there, and then, I mean, if this plays out how Ryan wants it to, and the thing is the Lugia deck doesn't play any heavy hand disruption. Like, you don't really disrupt deck's setups as Raz's deck. Like, Raz's deck does not disrupt setups. Like, you set up your Lugias, you swing, and like theoretically in most situations you kind of out prize trade your opponent. Sometimes Marnie can get there, but Marnie doesn't really get there up against Mew decks. Like, Marnie's not enough to beat Mew unless you got like Path to go with it. So oh, wait a second though. Well, no, we're still behind in the prize trade. I said the Raikou, I was gonna say the Raikou's about to come out here actually, which is pretty cool here from Raz. Actually, this kind of like invalidates this whole play from Ryan then. I guess that Raikou exists. The Raikou plays pretty clean here from Raz. It also keeps a 2 prizer out of the active. Yeah, I really like this play from Raz. This makes sense too. You go with Raikou, you KO Meloetta, KO Oricorio. Yeah, I like this a ton. And this kind of like makes like Ryan's play actually kind of bad, to be honest. Like the whole like not getting 2 Mews and just attaching the energy to the Mew. This like opened up a pretty easy way. This is maybe the easiest way for Raz to get 2 prize cards this turn while fully setting up like double Archeops and stuff. If Raz had gone like 1 Archeops plus Gust KO lone Mew, then you're leaving the Fusion Energy in play. But this allows Raz to get 2 prize cards and remove the Fusion Energy from play. So actually, yeah, I think this actually ended up better for Raz than Ryan. And I think Ryan's probably regretting not just benching a Mew with the Fusion. But I guess in that scenario, well... That does make things weird. Yeah, I think that would have still just been better from Ryan too. Like, once again, looking back at it, it felt better in general. And I think now that I see the Raikou play happening, which I didn't think about in the moment, it does feel like that's would have been a little bit better. All right, here we go again. Or are we not attacking with the Raikou? Double turbo and capture. Oh no, I think there might be an Aurora in the hand. I think there is an Aurora in the hand. So we still are. We're still attacking with Raikou here. I don't think Raz has attached an energy for turn. So Raikou's still happening. Let's see. Yep. Keeps the Pumpkaboo around as the last card in the hand over the capture energy. I'm not sure I agree with that. Ooh, and actually switches it up here. This is probably better as well from Raz. Actually knocks out the Meloetta, but then actually sets up the damage on the Mew, which actually this makes more sense when I see this as well. I was like, ooh, we can go for the 2 prizes. But to be honest, the 2 prizes don't even really matter. You'd rather hit the Mew so you can make it easier to KO the Mew. Because you can't Yveltal anymore as Raz. This does take away your Yveltal play. Maybe it was. No, but it also keeps a 1 prizer out of your active, which is also good as well, I guess. No, I like this more from Raz as Raz. I like the plays Raz is making for sure. Now it can be awkward for Ryan to attack this turn, to be honest. Ryan has a ton of energy in the hand, but there's no double turbos. So once again, that fusion energy being on the Oricorio feels kind of off. It feels a little bit stranded. And the play here from Ryan definitely wants to be... Ryan is trying to knock out that Lugia V before it gets a chance to evolve, or knock out the Lugia V before it evolves, or you want to Echoing Horn the Luminion and KO that if you like whiff the modifier. You want to Echoing Horn the Luminion in general this turn if you can. It could get shuffled back into the deck by KO and Oricorio, but that puts Raz on an odd or on a weird prize trade where they still need to take 2 knockouts after that. So if you can find the Echoing Horn this turn as Ryan, you definitely want to. It was a Talos on the Cram. I think it's possible Ryan would have just like searched out an Ultra Ball there and Ultra Ball those 2 energy away because they're useless at this point. And another pretty bad hand to work with here from Ryan. So once again, this fusion energy being on the Oricorio has become super awkward. Like, this is what makes this hand so awkward. If that fusion energy was just on a Mew, this hand from Ryan would be fine. So once again, I'm like not sure that fusion energy being on the Oricorio, like forcing out the Oricorio play kind of like Ryan did, felt weird. But I guess like the argument kind of would be in that situation. Well, it's like, okay, well, is there an argument for that though? Like, if we think back to like the initial opening that Ryan had, like if Ryan went Meloetta, KO Lugia V, don't gust the Luminion. Well, you kind of want to KO Luminion before it goes back to the deck though, right? You do kind of want to do that. All right, so you KO Luminion, Lugia comes up, KOs your, let's say you put a fusion energy on your bench Mew V. Lugia comes up and KOs it. Well, you can just push Meloetta again and you attach the 3rd fusion energy for turn, and then Meloetta is doing actually more damage than a Mew would do anyways, right? And then you're just like, okay, but now you need back-to-back gust effects, and you're potentially taking knockouts as Ryan as well. You know there's not 2 Archeops in the discard pile yet, so you could even go with a weird play where you like gust KO lone Archeops, and then KO the Lugia after that. Yeah, so overall, I think this Oricorio play is just worse than not, to be honest. Yeah, I think the Oricorio play is just worse than the other play. Worse than just the Mew with the fusion. Although I would have been interested to like see that play happen and see how that played out as well, to be honest. I'd like to see how both plays play out, but so the Oricorio I feel like is just incorrect. Yeah, it just feels bad. It just feels like it's worse than just like having because you're already getting so far ahead as Ryan with the play of the initial 1-hit KO with the Meloetta that you can kind of ride that, I feel like, throughout the rest of the game and just win the game from there. I feel like it's possible that you just kind of just ride that early lead and just kind of take over from there. Now I'm curious to see how this plays out from here, because if Ryan doesn't get a 2-prize knockout here on this turn, then Raz can start to pull ahead in the prize exchange for sure. We can look for Raz to KO this Mew. Raz did go down to 1 card in hand and only drew 1 prize card. So a sneaky play here that Ryan could do could be to Psychic Leap, KO the Raikou, and send up the Oricorio. We do see the double turbo energy though, and 1 tablet has been used, and we still have the VSTAR power here for Ryan. Oh, I forgot that the VSTAR power was still around, to be honest. So Ryan's been actually in like an okay spot, I feel like, for a little while here. There it is. I assume a boss will be found here to KO the Lugia V off the bench. That would be my assumption. Or a Serena, I guess, could also be taken here to do that. And then next turn is going to look for the big 1-hit KO on the Lugia V Star. And then on Raz's side, because that Raikou damage was set up on the Mew, you can attack this turn with Charizard, and Charizard can KO the Mew. And I assume that'll be the play that Raz goes for. Charizard KO Mew. Maybe play a Marnie. I don't know how much you feel you need to disrupt Ryan's hand. Ryan's hand was like, Ryan was drawing pretty awkwardly initially. So I don't think you actually want to disrupt Ryan's hand. It could be a fair call to assume that his hand is still pretty or reasonably awkward. But we'll see what happens here. Also, if you can get the V-Guard energy. Oh, no, but the 4th Aurora is prized for Raz, actually. So if Raz plays the Heat, it's still possible. But no Heat, and you're going to have trouble. Also, if Raz plays the V-Guard energy, you're going to want to get that on your Lugia this turn as well. And you also want to fill your bench, so that way you can't be... and I do see the Heat energy in the deck there from Raz. So we're going with the Charizard game plan. And if Raz plays the V-Guard energy, can throw that on the Lugia as well. And then that'll make it that much harder, if not maybe impossible, for Ryan to get a 1-KO on the next turn, to be honest. So, we'll see. I mean, his hand sucks, so he can't fill his bench. No, he has a Pumpkaboo in hand, so he can bench Pumpkaboo to fill the bench. Hopefully Raz sees that, or maybe Raz just knows if Ryan doesn't potentially play the Echoing Horn. Capture and Heat, it looks like, going to be making their way to the Charizard. And then, like I said, yeah, filling the bench makes the most sense to me here from Raz. It would open, there would be like a weird line of play from Ryan, where Ryan could Psychic Leap a Mew back into the deck for a turn to put damage on Lugia, and then send up Oricorio afterwards. And if you don't have a bench space for Luminion, if you don't have a bench space for the Luminion, then you can't search out a Gust Effect and chase a 2-prize Pokemon. So Raz would be at 2 prizes, but with a 1-prizer in the active. Evolution Incense here, probably just going to grab another Archeops. And I don't even know if Raz plays 3 Lugia VSTAR or just plays the 2, so that's like another thing. Goes with the Archeops, though. Gets that into hand. And yeah, the Charizard attack's coming down here. And it's once again going to leave a 1-prize Pokemon in the active, so Ryan's got to find the full new VMAX energy. I think there's no V-Guard energy there, so it looks like Raz doesn't play the V-Guard. So now the Mew, it is possible. Double Tablet Choice Belt. Ryan definitely has that left in the deck here. So, because they did just pull, actually they pulled a Choice Belt or a Tablet off the prize cards. I'm assuming this build of Mew will always be playing 2 Choice Belt. I guess it's possible Ryan only plays 1 Choice Belt, which might make it actually impossible, but I would assume there's 2. Starting with a Quick Ball here, going to get rid of the V-Guard energy. Once again, Clog in the hand is the energy. We'll see if everything's in the deck here for Ryan or not. I think it is. I think Ryan there. I see the second Choice Belt. I think Ryan has the possibility to pull it off this turn. Might need to, I assume has like, I discarded a boss turn 1 actually. Discarded a boss turn 1 and used Serena on the last turn. So I think it's possible Ryan might be out of Gust Effects and might have to Silene into Catcher to actually, he does not have Pump in hand. Are you sure? I thought I saw Pumpkaboo in Raz's hand. I thought Raz ended the last turn with just Lone Pump in the hand. I could be wrong. All right, here comes the Silene. Heads. And could have been double heads. At least 1 heads. The Pokemon Catcher's coming back. It looks like it was just 1. Goes on top of the deck. That's going to get played. Double Tablet. Draw from Genesect number 1. We've only seen 1 catcher so far from Ryan, so there's probably more catchers in the deck as well. Doesn't have the energy. Has 2 catchers now to work with. Still needs a little bit to go, though. Needs the energy. And needs another modifier. Needs energy and a modifier. Now has the VMAX in hand, though. Not many cards left in deck. Still 2 Genesects to work with. So I think pretty good odds here for Ryan to get all the cards, and then it just comes down to whether or not the catchers are heads. Catcher number 1. You almost want... Oof, okay, it is a heads. You almost want this one to be tails and the next one to be heads. So you could burn 1 more card out of the hand. 6 double cram. This whole hand can definitely be played here for Ryan. The whole hand can get played out here. Cram 1. Tails. Cram 2. The tails. Okay, here comes the vacuum. Going to discard the catcher. Or Lost Zone the catcher. And then also Lost Zone for Seal Stone. I was wondering if Ryan was maybe going to mess up that sequencing there. Because you could always play the Parasol. But had a target. Last Genesect. Choice Belt and the energy. And that's it. That's game. And they can't figure out how to shake hands. But they do it in the end. And yeah. Ryan gets the dub 2-0 over Raz with the Fusion Mew.